Hi everyone, welcome back to another week where we're going to talk money. We're going to talk about the topics that you're probably afraid to talk about because you don't know what you don't know. And I'm going to make that less scary. So today we're talking about supplemental health insurance. Don't check out. Stay with me for this whole video because I think you're going to learn something that you might not have known before. That is often a topic that people run from. And I'm a huge believer in just empowering you with knowledge and helping build your confidence that when it comes time to make decisions, especially today about your benefits, that you feel like you know what the options are that you're choosing between. So let me break this down, and I'm going to piggyback to an event that happened not long ago, right after I quit my corporate career in corporate finance. Not even a month later, my son broke his wrist. And first, I was so thankful that he was okay. Secondly, I was thankful that I had insurance. But what came as a pleasant surprise to me was that I was still able to utilize the supplemental health insurance that I had enrolled in. Didn't realize I was able to extend the coverage beyond my employment date, and that proved to be financially a lifesaver. So let me break down some of these terms that I'm using so that it doesn't feel like I'm talking a different language. When we talk about health insurance, we have the normal packages you can enroll in. Sometimes it's a higher monthly expense and the insurance company covers more. Sometimes it's a lower monthly expense and you cover more. Depends on what fits into your lifestyle and your family's health and those decisions. I'm not talking about that today. What I am talking about is supplemental health insurance, which is a series of choices you can make. Oftentimes, companies have multiple types of supplemental health, which could be accident insurance. I'll break that down in a minute. Critical illness, which is for something that's longer term, diseases and things like that. Hospital indemnity, which is for specifically when you stay in the hospital overnight. Those are options that for a price, you can add them on. Supplemental, that's where that term is, where it comes from. So it's usually a pretty enticing price, but if you follow somebody like Dave Ramsey, if you follow those practices where don't pay for more than what you need, one of the things that he says is don't pay for the stuff that your emergency fund could cover. And I will share too that on average, when you enroll in supplemental health, they're not highly utilized benefits in the grand scheme of things. So let me give you an example. If a company has members who are enrolled in a health insurance plan, for every dollar that they spend on health insurance, generally speaking, the health plan is spending 80 cents on the dollar to provide benefits. So that's an 80% utilization rate. That's what that word means. When it comes to supplemental health, because they're for very specific things like an accident, there's very specific rules around what qualifies as an accident. Critical illness. Sometimes there's specific illnesses that you can add supplemental insurance for, like cancer and things like that. A lot of times your health insurance has great coverage, but there's that enticing piece of it of like, what if that specific thing happened? I could get extra insurance money for it. There's also, like I said, the hospital indemnity for, overnight stays when you're in the hospital. That utilization rate is much lower, meaning for every dollar that you spend as a member, as an insured person, maybe, and I'm not quoting, today's rate, but the utilization rate is much lower, meaning maybe the insurance company spends about 60 cents for every dollar on fulfilling claims, fulfilling those needs. So it's just that the particular incident doesn't necessarily match up, so that insurance coverage isn't being utilized by that member because that scenario didn't pop up. So that's why if you follow somebody like Dave Ramsey, like I do, I agree with that concept. Don't pay for something that's rarely going to happen. I'm not a financial advisor, but the concept is keep more money in your pocket, put that into your emergency fund, and you'll be able to cover or build up your health savings account, which is a keep it forever, not a use it or lose it type of expense. Keep it in your pocket. Use it towards building up an emergency savings and things like that. But I'm going to share something that I bet you didn't know. And I didn't know this until maybe 2 or 3 years ago when a coworker shared this with me. So when you look at your benefit packages when it comes to open enrollment time. And if you're listening to this in the fall time, there's a good chance you're rounding up that corner where your company's benefits open up and you have to choose your benefits for the next year. So I hope you're catching this in time to be able to make a more informed decision. Look at the details of that accident insurance coverage. Look specifically for whether or not there is a benefit that they offer for wellness visits. And what that means is if you normally, or even don't normally, but if you're going to go to the doctor, there's a whole series of preventative type of visits that qualify as wellness visits or wellness events. It could be a dental cleaning. They're covered already with your regular insurance, actually. So the dental, those routine checkups that are part of like your normal insurance package, it doesn't come out of your pocket. So that once a year doctor's visit, the twice a year dentist, the lady visits and the male visits, anything that are covered. Then there's a series of them. It could be an eye appointment. All these things that you're doing anyway, that your regular insurance pays for you to do. You can submit that event as a wellness screening under your supplemental insurance. And for every person who's covered under your plan, they'll reimburse you cash. And I'm not saying this is for every single health insurance plan. This is, you need to go look at your company's benefits. But look at that. So they will pay out cash into your bank account pretty quickly too. You submit the details of the service that you had done, and they can verify it if they need to. They will pay you cash per person who went for a visit. Not only that, but that same event, that same doctor visit, dental visit, eye visit, OBGYN, anything like that, qualifies as an event that you can submit for any of the supplemental insurances. So if you're enrolled in all three insurances, you can submit that same event 3 times and get paid 3 times into your bank account. And I'm telling you the truth because this is how my company did it. And this is how a lot of companies offer it. So it's important for you to know this. And the reason why I'm saying this is look at the cost that it costs you to enroll in that insurance. So let me give you an example. If it costs you $10 a month to have accident insurance, that's $120 a year. Look at what the reimbursement is if you submit a wellness screening that your health insurance is already paying for you. So there's no extra expense for that wellness visit. You just submit it and you get paid by your supplemental health plan for doing that wellness preventative screening. So you submit that for every insurance that you're enrolled for, or knowing that you would submit that, you would get that money back. Add up the amount that you would get back, and if it equals or is greater than the cost of that insurance, you're basically getting paid to carry supplemental health. So in a case like that, it might make sense to add on that supplemental health plan. Again, it depends on how many members that you're paying for, how much reimbursement that they'll give you, and you have to go and do those doctor's appointments to get reimbursement. But it's really powerful. So I'm going to give you a very practical example. If we have a family of 4 and we have accident insurance, every time we submit a qualifying event, once a year, they'll reimburse you for any of the events. So if I went to the dentist, my husband went to the doctor, our son went to eye appointment, and the other one, say he also went to the dentist, you can get $75, let's use that as an example, per person. So for a family of 4, I potentially could get 75 times 4, which is $300 for that one insurance plan that I'm adding on. And if it doesn't cost me more than $300 or just barely $300, then it's a win-win because you're getting paid for the coverage regardless, and maybe sometimes you're getting reimbursed a little bit more. You submit those same 4 activities. Say I enrolled in critical illness because the same scenario was true. They paid me as much of a benefit as it would cost me to have the insurance coverage. There's another $300. Then I do the same thing. Say I have the hospital indemnity insurance too, because same scenario. It was beneficial. It's not costing me any more than what I'm getting reimbursed. So at the end of the year, it's a win-win, a net zero, meaning it didn't cost me anything to carry that coverage because I got reimbursed due to my wellness visits. I'm repeating this so that the concept will stick, and then replay the video too or ask questions in the comments. There's another Another $300. So that brings you to $900 for the year. And if you're not paying $900 for those 3 supplemental insurances, then again, you're getting to carry that insurance pretty much free of charge. That's when it might make sense. So look at your insurance coverage, look at your supplemental health specifically, look for that benefit, the health screening preventative benefit where they will pay out. There should be a grid on your insurance coverage booklet when it comes time for open enrollment. Scroll down to supplemental health and just look for that wellness benefit. There's a lot of events that qualify. And if you have questions, you can call their 1-800 number for your company's benefits. So all that to say, I'm going to bring it back full circle. I was able to retroactively enable or activate that insurance coverage. So even though I didn't work at my company anymore, I retroactively activated and continued the coverage. So I was able to submit that broken wrist, all the claims, all the bills, and the cost of reimbursement that I got because it was a qualifying accident cut my insurance expense by more than half. And that was a check that went right into my bank account. So I can choose, do I want to pay the bill with that money partially? Do I want to pay the whole bill with my health savings account? If you have a high deductible insurance plan, which means you pay less every month, but you have to pay more for the insurance expenses until you reach a certain amount, you're allowed to have a special health savings account. If that's you, you probably know it because it's something only available to people who have health savings account or high deductible accounts. The benefit is when you leave your money in your health savings account, it gets in there tax-free, it gets to grow tax-free, and you get to spend it tax-free on medical expenses. To you, maybe you're saying, I'd rather leave that money in there growing. I'm going to take the money that I just got for my supplemental health, cut down the actual medical bills, and pay what's left over out of my health savings account. You figure out what makes sense for your life. This worked out really great for us because I was able to have real cash in my bank account with something that I didn't expect to have covered. I'm so happy that I did with the accident insurance. And we're paying the medical expenses out of our health savings account because that's the scenario we're in right now. Long term, we're sacrificing some of that interest growth. But in the grand scheme of things, materially, it's something that we weighed and decided we're okay with that. So you can slice it and dice it many different ways. So I'm going to recap. I know this is a long video, but I want you to be able to rewind, replay it. So to recap what I was talking about, if you're deciding whether or not you want to add supplemental insurance, 3 examples being accident, hospital indemnity, critical illness, go to your company's benefit catalog, see if they offer a wellness reimbursement. If your insurance, your regular insurance already covers those preventative screenings, you're submitting that one event for all 3 insurances. You don't have to go to the doctor 3 times. You go to the doctor once and submit it for supplemental health insurance 1, supplemental health insurance 2, whatever that choice is, and 3. You can pick 1, you can pick none, you can pick all of them. You have to just do the math, but I want you to know that that's an option you have. And if you get pretty much paid to have the coverage, in my case, it worked out really well. So think about that for yourself. If you have questions, you can reach me right now directly by email, leah@moneywisemom.com. You can put it in the comments. This is a hot topic sometimes once we start peeling back the layers. And I hope that this empowers you to make informed decisions that you can be confident in going into your next year of budgeting. As you think ahead, where can you save money? Where can you enhance your knowledge? I hope this was valuable for you today. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. And I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.